If you're even somewhat familiar with the modern web development industry, you've probably heard the name Tailwind CSS somewhere. But what is a Tailwind CSS and why would you use it? Now, this is just a simple login function which would usually be a HTML file, a CSS file, and then a JSON file for processing data and events. This is just an empty uh, index, an empty HTML, no JavaScript. So if I do anything here, it doesn't actually do anything, but it does look kind of nice. Um, Now the source code for this function, for this simple page, is actually more simple than you would think because of Tailwind. As usually you would have to define most features in a CSS file. Now here we just pull the CSS as a source code script. Then we add a Tailwind config, which adds the colors primary and primary hover, which you can see when I hover over or press in the login button or when I hover over the login button. So this is the primary, and primary hover will be this color. Now fade in is it's just a simple define. This isn't a full Tailwind tutorial, it's just an introduction as to what it is. If you would like a full Tailwind tutorial, I recommend reading the docs, or I think there are a few Tailwind courses on Unity that you might like if you are more visual learner. So how does this work? Now we set the background to white, which usually in default HTML you don't have, because um because you have to set all the functions in a CSS function and you have to keep track of everything. But here you can just define the CSS inside the HTML function. So uh, you could background white and make it rounded. So this class would be the login outside. You give it a shadow, so the has a slight shadow. This is the shadow type, and you would give a fade in, a border, and here you can see if I show you again, you can see the gray border and the fade in, uh, the um the shadow function behind it. So you define text also, font bold, text gray is the color of the text, which is also nice. Then font medium, size of the font, uh, text color, and it just overall makes it much easier to work in in HTML or in any web project. So if you're new to web development and you want a more simple or better way, uh, that is also industry standard. I would recommend you learn Tailwind maybe from a Unity course. Honest recommendation, just read the docs, they're free and they are much more in depth than any Unity course. Well, not any, but most Unity courses. And happy creating. Now you just have to create your own big new Google website, which everybody wants to use. And thank you for watching, and bye bye.